shattered to unbreakable. Listen here, sweet sister. Whether you think you have one little crack or you are shattered into a billion pieces, this podcast is going to give you the resources, tools, and skills to help piece yourself back together to form a beautiful, unique, solid, and unbreakable masterpiece. You are listening to Shattered to Unbreakable, the Reclaim Podcast. Let's talk. Hello, welcome to another episode of Shattered to Unbreakable. I am your host, Brandi Babin, and today I'm talking a little bit about idols, but not in the way you would think. Not like your American Idol or like your musician idol or actress idol. This is going to be a little bit different. I'm going to talk about idols in your life. God says, do not have any other idols above me. When you have a peaceful relationship with God and full trust in Him, then nothing that can be taken away from you in your life can really disrupt that peace that you feel. I'm not talking about sadness. You can feel sad, you can feel lonely, but if something is taken away and you feel like you're not okay without it, then that's an idol. For example, when I look at my life, having a boyfriend has been very important to me since like the third grade. So, not very fun to admit. But if I really think back, I have not had very much time in my life where I've been single. I've always loved having a companion. I've always loved having someone to connect with. And to an extent, that's okay because we are designed for connection. God created us for relationship. In fact, He wanted a relationship with us. That's why we were created. He also knew that just one person wasn't good. So He made another person so that they could be in relationship. So we are literally designed for two reasons: relationship with God, relationship with each other. I have been knowing that connection is okay to desire. However, if I am not okay without it, it's an idol. I've noticed this just in the last 9 months. Obviously, you all know of a long-term relationship I had. It didn't work out. And I immediately felt like I needed to date someone else in order to get over him. I just started dating, going on dates, not necessarily boyfriends, but going on dates so that I could feel connected. And then I would go through moments where I'm like, you know what? I just don't really trust anyone. I don't think my heart is ready right now to date again. And I would pull back. And then in that pullback, I felt very empty, very lonely. There were times where I was like, I'm not okay. I'm really not okay. And then I would just attribute it to, well, I'm built for connection. I'm made for connection. I need to be connected. It's okay to date. This is normal. I should date. And so then I would start dating again. That didn't satiate. So then I would pull back, felt lonely again. So there was this cycle, right, of like pulling back and dating and pulling back and dating. And I just couldn't figure out what was wrong. If you guys know me, I can explain away anything. So I had my little explanations. I was going through psychology courses. I'm like, this is what's happening. Oh, this is what's happening. And they weren't wrong and they weren't right. But as I'm going through this Lent season, I'm starting to realize that having somebody to be connected with in a deeper relationship is something that I've always felt like I needed. And I'm realizing that that's been an idol in my life. What is it that is keeping you from God in a way? If I could explain this a little bit further, I was okay with my relationship being a barrier between me and God. I dated somebody who didn't believe in God, who didn't believe in Jesus, who didn't even want me to play Christian music, didn't go to church. I couldn't share that with him. I had made that okay because the connection with Him was more important than the connection with God. So I would separate those two. And that's a sign for me that it's an idol and not healthy. Because if I am willing to let something or somebody remove God from me and be okay with that, that's an idol. That is like a foothold for Satan to be like, this is very important to her. I can mess with this and keep her away from God. this is just my own experience. I'm not saying any of you are dealing with this. This is just my illustration of what I'm talking about, as there can be idols in your life that you don't even know are keeping you from a deeper relationship with God. And it's not that when I was able to separate from having a boyfriend that I got closer to God, because really I didn't. I almost felt worse. It was because instead of trusting in God, I was trusting in humans. Instead of trusting in God, I was trusting in a relationship. And whenever I didn't feel okay, I never was like, I think I need to get closer to God. I was more like, no, I need a boyfriend. That will make me okay. And so learn the hard way. Didn't make me okay. I do desire a long-term relationship with somebody I can grow old with and make memories with and have inside jokes with. But man, now I can separate from that and draw closer to God. And I'm actually starting to see the benefits from letting that go. And it was really hard. And it took a while. And it took me trial and error, trial and error, trial and error to be like, this isn't actually fulfilling me. This isn't actually making me feel the way I thought it would. Interesting. And so I started seeing it as like, I was putting way too much weight on this for my happiness, because my happiness actually doesn't rely on this whatsoever. And I wanted to share with you a prayer. I've been on the Hallow app. It's a prayer app for Lent. And they started one of their prayer sessions with this prayer. I've heard it before and actually have prayed it before. But when I first heard it, I was like, whoa, this isn't my style and I really don't like it. And so I didn't put a whole lot of weight into it until recently. But now I get it. And so I want to read it to you. And this prayer, it's called the Litany of Humility. Bear with me, because if you react to it the same way I did the first time I heard it, you'll be like, no, thank you. But I have recently come to an understanding of what this actually means. Because when I first read through it, I was like, this is opposite of everything that I tell people. I'm in the business of self-development, self-love, and self-value. This is going against everything that I'm teaching. And that's what I had thought. Revelation, it isn't. So I'm going to read this to you, and then I'm going to explain to you my revelation. Okay. Oh, Jesus, meek and humble of heart, hear me. From the desire of being esteemed, deliver me, O Jesus. From the desire of being loved, deliver me, O Jesus. From the desire of being extolled, deliver me, O Jesus. From the desire of being honored, deliver me, O Jesus. From the desire of being praised, deliver me, O Jesus. From the desire of being preferred to others, deliver me, O Jesus. From the desire of being consulted, deliver me, O Jesus. From the desire of being approved, deliver me, O Jesus. From the fear of being humiliated, deliver me, O Jesus. From the fear of being despised, deliver me, O Jesus. From the fear of suffering rebukes, deliver me, O Jesus. From the fear of being calumniated, deliver me, O Jesus. From the fear of being forgotten, deliver me, O Jesus. From the fear of being ridiculed, deliver me, O Jesus. From the fear of being wronged, deliver me, O Jesus. From the fear of being suspected, deliver me, O Jesus. That others may be loved more than I, Jesus, grant me the grace to desire it. That others may be esteemed more than I, Jesus, grant me the grace to desire it. That in the opinion of the world others may increase and I may decrease, Jesus, grant me the grace to desire it. That others may be chosen and I set aside, Jesus, grant me the grace to desire it. That others may be praised and I go unnoticed, Jesus, grant me the grace to desire it. That others may be preferred to me in everything, Jesus, grant me the grace to desire it. That others may become holier than I, provided that I may become as holy as I should, Jesus, grant me the grace to desire it. So all the stuff in that third part, that last part, was like, but I want to be a speaker and I want to spread the reclaim message. And so I need to be esteemed and I need to be approved of and I need to be talked about. And these are things that I need to do in order to get the message out there. And so I just really wrestled with this. And I was like, man, from the desire to be loved, like, that's not human nature, I don't understand this. And it finally clicked. From the need to be loved by others, from the need to be extolled by others. It doesn't say from the desire to be loved by myself, like for the desire for me to love myself. And I honestly think that that is exactly what this is about. I think this is about saying, deliver me from any opinion of any other person out there. Every self-help book that I've read that that involves being a leader, they all have this same theme, and that is do it because you love it, not because you want people to love you. Do it because you want to make a change, not because you want to be famous. Do it to do something, not to be somebody. All of that makes total sense when you look at the words in this prayer. Deliver me from my desire for a reputation, for fame, any of that. And if you are truly working your passions for the glory of God's kingdom, to make a change in the world, to help people, truly to help them, not to help them so that you get recognition, but to truly help them. And even in the last part where I was like, yeah, but I have to try to increase so that more people can hear my message. And then God spoke to me and was like, but what if you trained 20, 50, 100,000 people to teach what you teach? And what if they were so good that they became famous? And then this 100 people that you taught that became famous will reach way more people than you famous. And I was like, oh, that makes sense. And so I have been struggling for the last year, actually more than that. I'm scared of being famous. I don't want to really. I'm scared of what it will do to my kids. I'm scared of what the tabloids, the power that they have. I see people that are famous being scrutinized and rumors and false things said about them all the time. I don't want my kids to live through that. I don't want to live through that. I want this message of self-love and self-value and delight in your own reflection. I want that message to hit every single woman out there, men too, but these women, I want them to feel worthy of looking in the mirror and saying, I delight in you. I delight in my reflection. When I look into the eyes of this reflection, I see patience, love, kindness, value, beauty. Everything that I've ever wanted, I see in the eyes of my reflection. That's what I want. I don't really want to be famous. I don't need a lot of money. But I really want women to feel this way because I've felt the difference. Once upon a time, I was over here and I was not okay. I didn't like my reflection. I thought the world would be a better place without me. Legit thought that. And now I'm over here saying I am beautiful, wonderfully, and fearfully made for a reason. God needs me. I'm here and I'm not going anywhere. And I can look in the mirror and say, imperfect, yes, but beautiful, valued, worthy, enough. And I really believe it. And if you would have asked me 10 years ago, if I thought that I would reach that point, I'd be like, oh, that's a tall order. And now I really do believe it. And so I am living proof that it works. I am also living proof that you can be confident without being vain, and that you can feel beautiful without being conceited, and that you can take care of your hygiene and yourself without being frivolous with money. This prayer is so amazing. And I'll put it in the show notes in case you want to relook at it. But it's the litany of humility. And I'm just really excited for the new meaning that I've gained, where it's like, it takes the pressure off. It takes the pressure off of having to be somebody so special and under such scrutiny. And now I just get to be. And this prayer is all about just being and letting God work through you and not being so worried about the outcome. You just get to be. How amazing to not worry about any outcome of anything you're doing. You just be and you do. I'm able to let go of these idols that I thought were so important. And now I have this knowing that whether I find a man or not, I'm going to be okay. Because it no longer makes me whole to have a companion. I am whole how I am, and I don't need it. Do I still want it? Absolutely. I want to have a companion so much to grow old with. That's how I've pictured my whole life. It's what I want. I want somebody to share life with, but it doesn't make me whole. See in your life if you have any idols that are keeping you from a deeper relationship with God. And then see when you read through the Litany of Humility, or when you heard me read it, what really stood out to you? What was like, ooh, And then there's a story there. When I first heard it, I was like, whoa, this is unrealistic. This is not what I've been taught. This is how religion gets misconstrued and makes people feel like they're supposed to be this meek and mild and super humble. Like, I feel like when I first read this, it was like, this is how religion muddies the waters of self-love and self-value and putting yourself first. This prayer feels like it's telling you you're not supposed to feel like you're important. And that's what gave me the ick when I first read it. And I'm not sure if maybe I'm wrong, because I could be. Don't like to admit it, but I could be wrong. But I just see it differently now. I see it differently. I see it as not so much to pray for God to help you feel less important, but it's more so a prayer for you to do and be rather than do things for the recognition or to be noticed or doing things to get something in return. I feel like that's what this is about more so. And to instead of, listen, if I would have just focused on me being famous to increase the reach of Reclaim, I would have missed out on the idea that I could train hundreds of people to do what I do and reach far more people, exponentially more people. I would have missed that had it not been for this prayer. So it is not that I should not do anything so that I'm not noticed. It's so that I can take the focus off of a reputation and fame and being noticed and instead focus on the work, the change, the impact. That's what this episode is about. What do you have as idols in your life, and where can you shift your focus from what everyone thinks about you to just what to do and who to be? Because I can tell you as women, what people think about us, it can ruin your life. It really can ruin your life because you're worried about what you said to so-and-so, and you're worried about if somebody's saying this or that. All you need to do to cure yourself from worrying about what people think of you is have someone start a smear campaign. I tell you what, I don't know what all this man has said about me, but I can tell you it is not good. And I have had to walk around knowing that people could be looking at me and thinking very, very horrible things. I've only heard a few things that he has said, and they are disgusting, to say the least. Completely embarrassing and humiliating. And I've had to just come to the comfort of knowing that I know and God knows the real facts. And the people closest to me know the facts. And if anybody really knew me, nobody would believe what he says. And that is a lot of the reason I don't care what people think, because I can't control what somebody else says about me. All I can do is live. And my employer had the best advice. She said, let him do what he does, and you live your life the way you live your life. People will see it eventually. So, okay, I'm just going to be me, and I'm going to do me, and I'm going to just keep going and not worry about what anyone says. So I also don't know who thinks what, because nobody's confronted me about what he said other than like, oh yeah, he said this and I didn't believe it. Or he told so-and-so this, or somebody came up to me and said, did you know that Brandi da-da-da-da? And they were like, oh yeah, that's not true. This humility prayer is not about lowering yourself down in value. It is about lowering your validation of other people's opinions, good or bad. So it's about, I don't care if she thinks I'm the bee's knees, and I don't care if she thinks I'm nothing but scum, because I am who I am. I'm doing what I'm doing, and that's it. Those are the two takeaways of today. One is check your life and see where you have idols that maybe you can, maybe not remove, but maybe you can start giving a little bit of a separation to get back with God and form a better relationship there, and just slowly kind of ease back on your dependency of those idols. And it can happen over a long period of time. It took me 9 months to wean myself off of this addiction to this idol, right? And then the second thing is this prayer of humility is all about shedding all opinions of yourself other than your own and God's, and just work with that, and he will bless it. It's not saying that you won't be recognized and extolled and esteemed. It's saying that you're not desiring it. And when you're not desiring to be extolled and esteemed, you work nose down for the right reasons, you will inevitably be extolled and esteemed and approved of and loved and all these things. It just will inevitably happen if you're not doing it to get those things. Does that make sense? I hope it makes sense. Okay, that's my episode for today. I will see you again next week. Stay sparkly. And if you would, can you go rate this podcast? We need more ratings, apparently. That's how it gets out to more people. So go give us a little rating, and I will see you next week. Thanks for hanging out with us today. I just wanted to remind you about the resources we have on the reclaimstrategy.com. That is Reclaim University with free downloads. It's the Reclaim Guidebook, access to Kintsugi classes and events. So go ahead and take a look. Also, please share this podcast with anybody that you think might need to hear these messages. And if you haven't already and you think we deserve it, give us a 5-star rating. That just helps our reach. So I love you guys. Stay sparkly, and we will see you next week.